Good evening and welcome to tonight's webinar. I'm so excited that you took this time out of your busy schedule to be here tonight. I want to thank you for that. So, once again, welcome to the webinar called The New Normal. In this webinar, we're talking about how your business can prepare for the changes now that we're in this post-COVID economy. Your company has to be digital, it has to be social, and this webinar and other webinars will teach you how to do that. Tonight, we are talking about Facebook, and we're talking about how to use Facebook Business to help grow your business. As you know, Facebook is the number one social media site. We're going to talk about ways that you can maximize Facebook and get more leads and more sales for your business. And once again, this webinar is presented by the U.S. Black Chambers and also the good folks at Grow with Google. So let's get started. Sean, I see you. Hello from Arizona. Yes. Hello, Arizona. Thank you for being here tonight. So once again, we are talking about how you can use Facebook to grow your business. And I'll say this again and again tonight, but Facebook is a great way to grow your business. And tonight, we're going to talk about all the things, all the tools, all the things you can use by using Facebook to help grow your business. All right, let's move to the next slide here. So if you're ready to learn how to use Facebook to grow your business, type in the hashtag like me. I say like me because Facebook is known for the like button. So if you're ready to learn more, just give me a thumbs up, type in like me, and we'll get started. All right, see a few comments. Thank you. Like me. All right, great. Let's keep going. Like me. Thank you for the comment. Appreciate that. Nice to see you again. You always leave great comments. I'll say one thing too before I get started. Tonight's webinar and every webinar, be sure to ask questions because the questions are what makes the webinar fun and more insightful. So, I have slides lined up. I have things I want to talk about, but at the end of the day, it's making sure that your questions are getting answered. So feel free anytime. I don't care how to stop talking. I'll make sure I'll stop and answer each and every one of your questions. So I have a few more people checking in here again. Sean, thank you again. Checking in from Arizona. Appreciate that. Let's go back to the slides here. So tonight we're talking about a few things. And first we're going to do is talk about Facebook 101. So as you know, Facebook has been around for years. I'm sure you have a business page on there and a personal page, but we'll talk about some of the features of Facebook and what makes Facebook unique and why as a business you have to be there and you have to be active. We'll talk about that. The next thing is we'll talk about ways that you can maximize your Facebook page. So what I find on Facebook is a lot of people have a page and they post things for a while. They don't get a ton of engagement, a ton of likes, comments, or shares. And then the page goes dormant. They post every 6 months or a year. But I'm going to give you strategies tonight of things you can do to increase engagement to make sure that more people are following you and engaging your business on Facebook. All right. So starting off with Facebook 101, like I just said, we're talking about Facebook, why you need to be on there, and how you can use Facebook to grow your business. So the first thing I want to start with is a stat here. And it says that 66% of Facebook users say they visit the page of a local business at least once a week. I'll say it again. 66% of people on Facebook visit a local business at least once a week because of Facebook. So when people ask me, why do I need to be on social media? Why do I need to be on Facebook? That's why, because people are using social media not only to like pictures of cats or watch funny videos, but at the end of the day, they're on social media because they're looking for companies, looking for services. So that's why you have to be active on Facebook because once again, it's the number one site and customers are on there looking for products, services in your company. So you want to make sure that you're there, you're showing up on Facebook. Also, I said this before, but I'll say it again. Facebook is the world's largest social media network with more than 2.85 billion users per month. 2.85 billion. And once again, I want to say that number again, 2.8 billion. That means people are on Facebook in large numbers. So once again, if your company is not on Facebook, if you're not active in that, you're losing out on tons of eyeballs for your business. And that's why you have to be there because, I'll say this to all my webinars, but digital marketing, social media is all about visibility. Once again, the more eyeballs you can put on your business, the better chance you have to making more sales and growing your business. So I got a question for you. So question is, do you have a separate Facebook page? Type in yes or no. And I ask that question because you'd be surprised. A lot of people are using their personal Facebook page as their business page. So I want you to type in the chat box. Are you using a separate page for your Facebook business? And while you're typing, you should be because there's so much advantages and other tools to that. So we have one comment here that says, yes, that's great to hear. So you definitely want to make sure that you have a separate Facebook page that's separate from your personal page. Once again, because, people don't want to see everything about your life, your family, your friends. If they come to your business page, they want to see your business. That's why they're there. So it's so important if you don't, make sure you set up and you have a separate page for your business and a separate page for your personal account. And also, like I said before, there's so many extra features that are only available on a business page and that you can't get on a personal page. So once again, make sure that you have two separate pages. We have a comment here. And it says, yes, I have too many pages, need to streamline. Yeah, that can happen. Over the years, we can open up multiple pages on Facebook. But yeah, you want to find a ways to consolidate and streamline those pages because what you don't want is to have too many pages and you have pages that are updated every 9 months. So yeah, once again, if you can only support one page, do that. But I would say have a separate page for your business. But once again, having multiple pages is really hard. So that happens with a lot of franchises. So let's say McDonald's, they may have a page for their main corporation, but maybe each franchise has a separate page. So that's difficult. So I would say only open up that many pages if you have staff and they have help because it's pretty hard to be active on your personal page and your business page at the same time. After that, you're going to need help. So yeah, when possible, make sure that when you open up a page on Facebook, that you're starting a page for a reason. Just don't start a page to have a page. Start a page for a reason and make sure you have the time and the energy to post and be active on that page. So thank you for that comment. Going back to the next slide here. So nobody said no, so I won't spend too much time on this slide. But if you don't have a page on Facebook Business, it's pretty easy to set one up. This is a screenshot of one here. I have a link down here. I'll actually copy that in the chat box and share that real quick. So let's take a look real quick. So I'm going to copy that link right now in the chat. So if you don't have a page, click this link and you can set up a page for your Facebook business. But it's pretty easy. You put in your page name, category, you put in a description, um, upload some images, and you're ready to go. So one thing I will say about this is make sure that on Facebook that you fill out your profile completely. So there are sections about your business, your hours, overview, website. Make sure you spend the most time filling out the profile completely. Why? Because when your profile is complete, it looks better to customers, and also Facebook will give you a boost if they see that you're taking your page seriously and after you're updating all the information. So once again, make sure you fill out all the questions that they ask on Facebook because once again, having a complete profile is going to get you more results and more traffic than having a profile that's half filled out. So make sure your profile is filled out completely. All right, so going to the next slide here. Now, this is the reason why you must have a page on Facebook. And I said it earlier, Facebook is the number one social media site. And the thing I love about that is the connection between Google and Facebook. And what I mean that Facebook business page, they rank very high in Google search. And I'll show you an example here. So you can't see here, it's a little small, but let's take a live view of this. So let's go into, let me zoom in some. Hold on one second. I want to make sure you can see this because this is really important to know. So we typed in a Black-owned company called What the Waffle. They're located in Ohio. And if we zoom in here, the first link is, of course, the website. That's great. The second link is Instagram. So tonight, we're not talking about Instagram, but Instagram, of course, is owned by Facebook. So once again, having a page on Facebook and Instagram means that you're going to rank higher in Google. That's why it's so important. So the second link is the link they have on Instagram. Next, you see Wikipedia. Keep going. Then the fifth link right here is Facebook. So the fifth link on Google is Facebook. So that's why you have to have a page, because having a page on Facebook is going to make your company show up higher in the Google search. So let's take a look at their page on Facebook. So let's zoom in some again. But like I said, this company is called What the Waffle. And you see their page is very active. And this is what you want for your page. So you want to have a image here. So like a menu right here. You want to have a nice icon. This can be a picture or your logo. You want to, of course, have your name filled out right here. There are food trucks right here. I have a brief description of your company, what you do. We scroll down. Their page, it just looks active. You can see that right here. You can ask questions. You can click on, you can see the menu, and their chat box pops up. And look at that. Automatically, you can see their store hours, locations, and so on. So they're doing a great job of using Facebook. And this is really why it's so important. At the end of the day, it's not all about getting likes, comments. That's great. But at the end of the day, it's about doing business. So the last post you can see here was 19 hours ago. And they created a picture here about their gourmet chicken and waffles. So I've had chicken and waffles before, but never a gourmet. So that sounds good. But scrolling down here, see a nice image here. They have about 4,000 followers. See the phone number, the email. All those things are important, because why? The more information you can give to Google, to Facebook, and your customer, the better, the more chances of somebody coming to your business and buying something. So let's scroll down more. See some of the photos, some more of the posts. Let's take a look here at some of their photos. So across social media, no matter what platform you're on, photos are huge. So if you create images, if you have images of your customers eating your food or your product, that's great as well. So once again, pictures. See some memes here. This is one of with Denzel Washington. Let's see this. It says, "Me thinking about my blueberry waffles on Monday. Me realizing that the waffle is closed on Monday." Okay, so once again, they're trying to be funny, but you can see some of the posts, and they're just active. And you see some of their posts don't have a ton of engagement. You might see 2 likes and 4 comments, but once again, you need to make sure that you have a profile that is active, that is robust. You see here too, they got a comment. Somebody said, "Where are you located?" And the person responded and said, "Here's our address." So once again, you want to make sure that you are being active on your page, because the more active you are, the more chances somebody is going to find your business. And once again, like I said before, it's not even all about likes, shares, followers. It's really about another directory, the mini website for your business. So once again, that's why you need to be active on Facebook, because it's another opportunity for customers to see your business and hopefully do business with you. So let's go back to their Facebook site again. Uh, Pull this up here. So once again, I said it before, I'll say it again, but look at the page, look at how robust it is, that they're active, they're engaging with their fans, and that's really good. You want to make sure that you have a page that's active and engaged, because it's very, very important to have that on your page, because having an engagement is so key to your business doing well. So let's go back to the slides. So I'm doing a lot of talking here, but are you finding what I'm saying helpful? If so, give me a thumbs up or just say yes. So if I'm doing a good job, give me a thumbs up and say yes. I'm doing a lot of talking here. Once again, this webinar is all about you. So if you have any questions about how you can maximize your page on Facebook, now's the time to get in the chat box and type in those questions, and I'll be sure to answer those. But I want to hear back from you. How am I doing? So we got a yes. Okay. Thank you. Anybody else want to chime in and give me feedback on how I'm doing? Okay, let's move on to the next slide here. So now we'll move on to ways that you can maximize your Facebook business page. So through this slide, I'm going to share a lot of different examples of how do you maximize your page. And I will share a link down here to give you some tips and a link to Facebook of ways you can maximize your page. But before we do that, we have a few questions. So I definitely want to answer those. So give me one second, and I'll do that. So let's see. We have a question here, and it says, when we offer multiple services, what's the best way to use Facebook for advertising? So yeah, that's a great question. I actually have a section about Facebook advertising, and that's actually our next section. So let me answer the next question, and then the next 3 slides will all be about Facebook advertising. But that's a great question, and I said this last webinar, but social media is not free. It is and it isn't. But if you want the most views, the most engagement, you have to promote your posts. You have to create ads, because that way you can use those ads to just target your demographic, to target your ideal customer. But once again, the next 3 slides, I'm talking more about that. So next, I'm going to answer the next question and then come back to you. But thank you. That's a great question. Let's see. It says, currently we use Branch Up to help posts. Would you recommend something of that type to keep active? I'm not familiar with the service Branch Up. I'm guessing it's a social media posting tool, but yeah, any tool you can use to help you be more active is the best. Once again, so that's the thing, because think about if you're looking for a business and I come to a business page on Facebook, let's say a restaurant, and I don't see any engagement on there, I don't see any comments, any photos, I might say to myself, hey, is this company even open? So having that engagement is very, very key. So any tool, any service you can use to have that engagement is very important. I would say too, if you can, ask your current customers to like your page on Facebook and to comment on your page on Facebook. If you have a brick and mortar business, on your receipts, say follow us on Facebook. In your emails, say follow us on Facebook. So one thing I want to say is social media is not in a vacuum. Social media is connected to everything. So anytime you have a business card, anytime you have a flyer, always say, hey, visit us on Facebook, visit us on Instagram. you want to make sure that you're tying that promotion to everything you do. So that's the way you can get more engagement too. Just making sure that every time you talk about your company, then print it on your email signature, have a link to your Facebook page as well. So once again, not too familiar with Branch Up, but any tool, anything you can use to draw more eyes, more eyeballs to your Facebook page is always a good thing. So that's a great question. So going back to Sean's question about, let's pull up again, about using Facebook for ads. So let's make the screen full screen here. And our next slide. So before I do that, let me share this link real quick. And it's to Facebook. So it's Facebook/business pages. Let me put that in the chat box tonight. So I'll cover a few things tonight, but this page is really good. It's by Facebook, and it has kind of more in-depth information about some of the things we're going to talk about. So if I say anything, you're not totally clear on it, ask a question, but also refer to this link for more information on how you can maximize your Facebook page. So let's make this a little bigger. Let's come back here. All right. All right. So you want to reach more people on Facebook by boosting your page, your post, or promotion. So we have an example here. You see the ad right here. And right here, there's a button that says boost. So this is a really simple way to get more eyeballs on your Facebook posting. So anytime you make a post and you want to get more engagement on that post, you can hit boost post and it will boost your post. That means it will show it to more people. So once again, social media is not free. If you want to get the full benefit, put a little money if you can behind your post. So come up with a budget. Let's say per month, we're going to spend $100 on Facebook ads. Try that for a month. Boost your posts. Target your audience, your customers, and that way they can come back to you. So let's go to the next slide here. So this is what you'll see in the next screen. So when you hit boost posts, this is going to pop up. And this page, I think, Sean, answered your question. So this is a section where you can really target your customer. So if you have different services, this is where you can target that. So let's say you are trying to target, let's say you're an accountant, and you're targeting customers for tax filing. Great. So let's say, do you want to target men or do you want to target women? You can also choose the age range of who you target. Let's say people 18 to 24. Also, you can choose to target a location. So let's say you're located in Florida. Instead of showing ads to everybody in the state, I want to target people only in Orlando, and I can target those people. And then also Facebook will give you an estimate of how many people your ad may reach. So once again, I think it's all about targeting. Whether you're paying for a post or not, you have to think about who you're targeting and make sure that not only your ad is being shown to the right people, but make sure that your ad is saying the right thing once again. So if you're targeting older population, your ad should have imagery, it should have language, all that stuff to speaks to that demographic. So once again, if you're trying to target multiple service, you want to figure out who is using those services. And you have A, B, and C service. Fine. We're going to target these services to this ad and these services to this ad. That's the best way to do it. So when it comes into multiple service, you just want to make sure that you're targeting different people. Now, the mistake a lot of people make on social media, on digital marketing, both paid and organic, is targeting everybody. So I want to say this real quick. I'm getting thirsty. Hold on. I think one of the things now that's happening in social media is that everybody wants a million fans, wants a million followers, because they're seeing celebrities, they're seeing entertainers, actors with that. But for the average person, average business, that's not realistic. And it really shouldn't be your goal. So the goal is not to attract everybody. The goal is to attract the people to your business that need your business. Only your people, only your niche people. So I'll give you an example. I had a business coach years ago who told me something. If you ever go into a bookstore, let's say Barnes and Noble, they have hundreds of magazines from knitting to sewing to archery to cars, everything. Each one of those books has a target audience. So if I'm going in to find out about baseball or basketball, I don't want to see a book about hunting. And that's how social media has to be. It has to be targeted. You want to create a small group of fans and followers that are crazy about what you are doing, what you're talking about. So the goal is not to target everybody. When you target everybody, when it comes to ads, you're going to pay more. So targeting everybody, you're going to pay more. So let's say you were targeting lawyers. Yeah, let's say you do a search for lawyers. You're getting millions of views. If you say lawyers that practice auto, lawyers in my state, lawyers in my city, it's smaller. So if you target a smaller niche of people, you have a greater chance of making more sales. And it sounds counterproductive because we're always taught more and more and more, get more. But no, the real power is in being a specialist and targeting the exact people for your business and your brand. So whether you're running ads on Facebook or on Google, make sure that you're targeting the ad, and everything in the ad speaks to the person that you're trying to target. I said a lot, Sean, but did I answer your question? I hope I did. So let's go back to the slides. I'll show you more about using Facebook ads. The next thing you can do on Facebook ads is set up a goal for the post. So I said this last class, but what is your goal on social media? Is to make sales? Is to get more phone calls, to get more downloads of your app or your website? What is that? So anytime you are creating an ad in Facebook, and ask you what are your goals, because depending on what your goals, it changes the way it shows your ad. So I'll pull the screen back up and show you some more of those. So one here, it said the first one, kind of small here, but it says get more messages. So this is great. If you click on this, it will help you get more people that go to send you DMs and messages to your business. The next one is get more engagements. That means you'll get more comments, more likes, more shares, that thing. The next thing you can do is actually you can put in your website address. So when somebody clicks on your ad on Facebook, they'll be directed back to your website. So that's really key too. If you can, always provide a link to your website in your ad, because that way you can say quickly in your ad what it is. You don't want to have an ad that's a mile long. Have an ad that's tells enough about your service, and to learn more or to make a purchase, they can click on that link, go back to your website, and take it from there. The next thing is get more leads. Get more leads is a cool feature. This is where you can have a capture form. So a capture form is you can get their name, their email, and their phone number. They can fill that out, send it to you, and then you can call or email them back and find out more about what they wanted. So that's a great way to get more leads. And the last one that's really key is getting more phone calls. Um, that's really key. And like I always say, when it comes to a business, getting more traffic to your website and getting those phone calls is very important. So a lot of people are viewing Facebook not on their desktops, but they're viewing those things on mobile phones. So if your ad is connected to a phone number, they click on your ad, it automatically will dial your business number and they can call you for service. So that is so powerful. I can see an ad on Facebook anywhere. I click the ad, it opens up and it calls the business automatically. So that's something you want to have. So once again, when you're creating an ad on Facebook or any platform, you want to have a firm understanding of what are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? Is that a call? Is that a engagement? Is that a message? Is that a visit to your website? Have in mind what is that goal you're trying to achieve. So let's pause real quick. Moving kind of fast here. Any questions about anything I said about Facebook ads, about Facebook in general? Once again, now is the time to ask those questions. So, um, what questions, what challenges do you have with Facebook? Be sure just to type those in the chat box, and I'll do my best to answer those questions. Okay, thank you, Sean. You said very helpful. Thank you for being a committed attendee. I see you here many weeks talking and sharing, so appreciate that. So, any other questions before I move on? All right, let's get back to the presentation. The next thing you want to do is you want to offer great customer service. And this is a snapshot here, and this is of Facebook Messenger. This is really key. This is where somebody can ask a question about your business. They can ask about an appointment, location, about services. And this is the thing that's really key. And I'll come back full screen for this. People on social media, online, they don't want to wait. They have a question now and they want to answer. So I say this always: be sure to check your DMs. Be sure to check the messages that your customers are sending you, because when that person sends you a message, they're ready to buy, they're ready to book, they're ready. So whether that's having somebody on your team or yourself that is monitoring your chats, you want to do that, because once again, I believe so many times in business, a sale is lost simply because you responded too slow. If you respond too slow to a post, too slow, that person is not going to stop, because you're not the only person that does your service. They're going to go back to Facebook, they're going to go back to Google, and they're going to find a business that responds fastest to their requests. So I'll show you an example of that. Let me go back real quick in the presentation. We'll go back again to the waffle company, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here we go. This is their Facebook page again. And there's normally a tab on here that says response time, and it says how fast a company responds um, to requests. And that's something that Facebook tracks. So if you take days and days to respond to customer comments or DMs, that's the bad thing. Facebook is going to show pages more that are active, and pages that are responding in a timely manner to questions. So if we were to click here and send a message, once again, it pops up with the times and the hours. So once again, when somebody goes into DMs, when somebody takes the time to send you a message, respond to that as fast as you can, because that's a customer that's ready to buy. And once again, if you don't respond to them right away, they're gone. Another thing I'm going to show you down here on the side, if we zoom in real quick, um, you see the phone number. And this is not an ad, once again, but if the person is a mobile device, they can simply click this phone number. It'll open up their phone and it'll call you automatically. Now, that sounds simple, but that is so powerful. It's all about ease of use. You don't want to make your customers have to navigate, have to search, have to explore to find you. Whether it's on Facebook or any platform, make it easy for people to contact you for business, because once again, I want to work with a company that's hard to work with. I see your service, your product, I know I want it, and I want to make it as easy as possible to make that sell. Also, having a link to your website is key. Email as well. Also, they can click that automatically, and they can send an email to your business. So once again, make sure that you are checking your DMs often, because I believe a lot of sales are lost because people simply aren't responding fast enough to DMs. So that's really important to make sure you're responding quickly to those messages. And I'll say this is not related, but even in email, when somebody emails you, email them back as soon as possible. When they call you and you missed a phone call, try to answer every phone call. But if they call you, leave a voicemail, call them back as soon as possible. Respond to that email request as soon as possible. Once again, because your company to respond to them. Um, a question here again from Sean, and it says, "Do you see any difference between nonprofit and for-profit use?" Yeah, it's a different audience. So if you're a nonprofit, you're not selling something. You have a mission. Maybe you're asking for donations. So just right there, being a nonprofit, your ask is a little different. You are have a cause that you're supporting. So you can still raise money through funds and donations, but it's a little different. So you keep that in mind. If you have a nonprofit, of course, it shouldn't be as salesy, promotional, as a for-profit page. You can have fundraising campaigns and share that in goals, share that. But I believe nonprofits should be lean heavily on their story. So if you're fighting a disease, or if you're building houses, I believe a nonprofit it does well online is sharing that story. Once again, because that's why people are giving to a nonprofit. So I'll say that understand at the end of the day, whether it's for profit or nonprofit, understand what motivates your customer or your donor. What is the thing that they want to do? So if you're a nonprofit and you build houses, you know your audience, you know what you want them to do. Maybe you want them to volunteer to build a house. If you're selling shoes, the people that come to your page are buying shoes. So know what motivates your audience. I think that's so important, whether you're a nonprofit or a for-profit. Just having a firm understanding of what you're selling, and um, it goes for both profit and nonprofit. Is having that story, because I think one of the things that happens now on social media is that once again it's so much about selling, and people are always trying to sell a product, sell a service. And if you're always saying sell, 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 buy, 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 people are gonna tune you out. So by sharing a story, by sharing information, you are selling without selling. So simply just sharing what you do is a form of selling. Nobody wants to be sold. You think about buying a car. My wife bought a car a few weeks ago, and it's a painful process. I hate haggling prices. I hate going to a used car lot or a car lot and having some aggressive salesperson, telling me about the best deals and the best offers and all this stuff. I don't want to be sold. I want to look at the cars, make my selection, and then I'll come to you if I have a question or I have a comment. So I think the same goes for social media. It's not so much selling, it's sharing your story, sharing your mission. And if your story, your mission connects to the right people, they'll engage you with comments, they'll engage you with questions. So once again, whether it's for profit or nonprofit, I think having your story and knowing your end user is so important. So thanks for that question. Uh, says we have several fee for service programs. Okay, not sure what you mean, but once again, if it's a nonprofit and there's the fee, that's fine. But what I'm saying is having a sale every day, or flyers today, 20% off, whatever. Those things don't work. But find ways that don't seem aggressive or overly salesy to talk about your product or your brand. So great questions. So the next thing I want to talk about is building a community. Facebook has the option where you can build a community page. And this is a great way to connect with like-minded people. And it's not about selling. It's about building a community. It's about helping those people. So you see my whole setup here, my lighting, my video, everything. I learned this by joining a group on Facebook called Ecamm. And this group is all about support. It's all about how to do better live streams, better videos. And it really helped me. And through this group, I end up buying a service for their product. Is about $25 a month I pay for the service I use. But once again, I bought that product and service. Why? Because they had a community. They had a forum that helped me. They answered questions. So let's do this. Let's go to their site real quick and let me show you a little bit more about Ecamm. But once again, having Facebook groups are easy, simple way to really have more engagement with your company and your cause. So let's pull up that real quick. Let's go to Ecamm right here. Okay, this is the Ecamm page I'm talking about. This is a community page. And community pages are awesome because they're people coming together around a like-minded topic and talking about it. So we scroll down here. This group has about 16,000 members, which is great. And you can ask questions. And the great thing is people answer questions. So you make a post about what camera do you use? And somebody replies about that. So it's awesome. When you have a question, you go to the site and the community answers the question. And I want to key on that real quick. So the goal on social media, the goal on Facebook is not to be always one-to-one. You just telling your fans and followers what they want and what's going on. The goal is to create a community that shares and that engages content. So you want to get your social media to a point to where you can make a comment, make a post, and your fans and followers will get on that post and they'll talk and they'll leave comments and they'll have a conversation. So you will get to the point where you're starting the conversation, the engagement, but you're not driving their engagement. You know, I find that the best profiles on Facebook, the best social media profiles are the ones where the community is involved and the community is leading that conversation. So that's very key to have that community. So I'll go back to Ecamm and show you a few more. Look at all these questions and comments from users, everyday people that are giving experience. And once again, these people don't work for Ecamm. They're not getting paid. There are people like myself that do a lot of video and want to help other people. But if you can, for your business, create a community page. And you may ask yourself, fine, I'm not selling cameras. What kind of page should I create? So one thing that I'm really big on is having a business that is bigger than yourself. So no matter what you do, having a cause, having something that you're passionate about. So having a page that's around a cause or a passion and a mission definitely makes sense. And once again, it's a community. If people come together to talk about that. So I think the first step in that is really identifying who is your community. Even if you sell running shoes, fine. Nike sells running shoes, but guess what? Nike has whole communities around basketball shoes, running shoes, all other equipment. So create communities around your mission, around your passion. And that's another way. Once again, you're selling without selling. And then once again, your users, your fans, your followers, they become your ambassadors. And they, in a sense, take over your account and they'll post stuff. They'll answer questions in the comments. They'll even protect you. So if you have engaged fans and followers that love your brand, let somebody go on Ecamm and say something wrong. The fans, the followers say, hey, no, we don't allow those comments here. That's not true. Please don't say that. They'll become the police almost sense of your page. So I always say, like, you want those fans that are promoters, I call them. They are like a grandma. They love you. They'll reshare your content. They'll post. They'll do that stuff. That's what you want. You want to create those fans and those followers that are crazy about your brand, because that's the power of social media. The power of social media is not you posting an image that gets likes and all that stuff. The power is when you post something and it connects with somebody here, they take that post, they reshare it, and then it goes farther. So if you think about going viral, which is hard to do, it's not a goal, it just happens, but it happens because somebody posts something online and it connects with somebody. They find it funny, they find it engaging, helpful, whatever. They take their content, they reshare it, and then it goes viral. You see it all across Facebook. You see it on Instagram. You see it on YouTube. That's how it goes viral. And that's not your goal, but your goal is to create content that engages, that connects with somebody, and they share it, they respond, and then goes on to have more legs past what you intended to. So once again, focus on making that content and building that community that is shareable. And one thing I'll say, I didn't say this last time, but I'll say it now, is that whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, you want to start building a business that is shareable. So throughout the day, think about things you can share about your day, about maybe a new product you got and a new service, a meeting. Find ways to be this shareable. Find ways to be social. I find too the companies to the best are the companies that don't. How can I say this? They don't stress too much about social media. And what I mean stress by, yes, they're still doing it, intentionally. They're still doing it for a cause, but they're sharing what's going on, and that's the kind of content that really connects with customers. They want to see that live. They want to see that engaging. They want to see that real content, and that's the things that really take off. So even right now, look at my background. I have Yoda. I have toys. I have action figures. I have the Avengers. I got on a light pink suit. All the things. Why? Because one is me, but I'm trying to inspire and spark conversation. And that's what you want to do on social media pages. You want to inspire, you want to spark that conversation, because once again, when you do that, that's how you grow, because that's how you're gaining more fans and more followers. Um, so I'll stop preaching now. I have a comment here that says, yes, I agree. Uh, they like to get real results. Yeah, exactly. And I'll say this as well. There's no secret formula to Facebook. There's no secret formula to Instagram. If there was, I'll be selling it for $1 million. But there's not. Facebook, Instagram, there's always changing. But the one thing that doesn't change is your customers, because you have to find out what they want. So it's all about creating that real engaging content, and those are the content that does the best. I could spend an hour creating a post, getting the perfect pose picture. I could post a picture of me just in a meeting, of me speaking, and that gets 3,000, 5,000 views. I posted a page of my son, who was born last July. He's turning one now. Um, of him and I working together, and during the pandemic, a lot of people recognize that about being at home with your kids and having to be your child's provider during the day, which is tough. It's been a year of that. I'm tired. But I posted a picture of that. I didn't have a suit on and my hair is messed up, and that got over 10,000 comments and even more engagements. So once again, just being real sometimes is the best. People are kind of turned off by the polished commercial, by the person that's wearing a lot of makeup that looks perfect. No, they want to see the real thing. I mean, even now, I have jeans on. I don't even have actual suit pants on. I don't have tennis shoes on. This is real. People respond to those things that are real. So you don't want to find ways just to be real on social media, because those are the things that really really connect. So I'm talking a lot here. Any questions or comments before we move on? We have about 15 minutes left. I've been talking a lot. Any questions or comments about Facebook or social media, feel free to type those in the chat box, and I'll be sure to answer those questions. Okay. The next feature we'll talk about is, did you know you can sell on Facebook? So if you have products and some services, you can sell those on Facebook. So it's called Marketplace, and this is another way your business can expand. So if you do sell products and services, you can sell those on Facebook, and this can be integrated into your Facebook page. And also on Facebook, there is a separate marketplace where people can go and search for items. And some items are used and some are new. But once again, it's another way to get more sales for your business. It's another way to get more exposure. So I didn't plan this, but let's do this. I'll show you an example of Facebook Marketplace. I think. Don't hold me to that. But here it is. So right up here, it looks like a house, pretty much. Click on that. This is Facebook Marketplace. Let's zoom out some. We're a little too close in here. So these are people selling cars, but everything is on Facebook Marketplace. Everything you can think of. You see the categories here. There's vehicles, there's property, apparel, there's hobbies, all kind of stuff. Pet supplies, anything you can think of is on here. So once again, it's another easy, another free way that you can get on, um, and you can sell products on here. Let's choose office supplies. Um, so these are used. I don't see any new ones here, but once again, you can list something if you want on Marketplace, and it's another way to make sales for your business. And it tells you the price, where they're located, and somebody can click here and send you a message and ask about your service or ask about your product. So once again, I'll say it again, it's all about exposure, and it's all about finding ways to get more eyeballs on your business. That's all it's about. Because once again, the more eyeballs, the more exposure, the more money you're going to make. It's all about that. So once again, any questions? Is anybody here currently on Facebook Marketplace? If so, just be sure to drop that in the comments. Any questions or comments about social media or how to use um, Facebook better? All right. Well, we'll get back to the slides here. And the last tip I have for you is keep your customers updated. You'd be surprised how many people come to a Facebook page and they're trying to find information, whether that's store hours, location, or see pictures. So make sure that you're updating your page with all the information and you're being active. And example of that is Chick-fil-A. I think Chick-fil-A does a great job, not only in their restaurants, just being super, super nice. I always joke, um, if you went Chick-fil-A and you ask somebody to change your tire, an employee will come outside for free and change your tire. They're just that that nice. But they're equally as nice and engaging on social media. And that's what I love. I love companies that um, are not only engaging, but they keep the same tone, they keep the same style, whatever you call it, both online and offline. So no matter where you meet me in person or you go to my website or social media account, you're getting the same response. You're getting the same person, and people like that. People like it to be the same tone, the same conversation from in person and online. So make sure you're finding ways to, like, once again, make your social media, Facebook, engaging, personal, and try to keep the same tone. So when they see you in person and they see you online, it's the same branding. It's together. So let's pull up Facebook's page real quick. I'm sorry, Facebook page. Chick-fil-A's social media page on Facebook. And let me just show you an example of kind of what I mean. So while I'm doing that, do we have any Chick-fil-A fans in the house? If so, just type yes if you are a Chick-fil-A fan. Anybody? Mm. Any Chick-fil-A fans out there? Anybody Chick-fil-A fan? If so, type yes. All right, so this is their page, and once again, yes, Chick-fil-A. I see it. Thanks for that. I might go there after this webinar. So, another person, Brittany, she says, yes, their customer service is bomb. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, and that's too, I think something that's lost in business right now is just being nice. I think Chick-fil-A, if we're honest, they don't have the biggest menu. They have chicken. They take that same chicken and they make nuggets, they make grilled nuggets, they make a sandwich, they make a wrap, they make a salad. It's the same thing over and over again. And, my wife loves Chick-fil-A, one, because they're consistent in what they do. I think it's very important that food is normally always good. And they're just friendly. You know what to expect. And people like that. And I think that's a key thing, Brittany. People know what to expect. They know that when they come to Chick-fil-A, no matter how the day is going, they're getting a warm, friendly smile from a person that's going to ask them what is their name and go to giving them their food. And that's very important. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying on the last slide is being consistent. So when somebody is engaging with you on social media, they should get the same kind of thing, the same kind of response. It shouldn't be different. But once again, I believe that's their key to growth, just being nice. I mean, it's amazing when you go to McDonald's or Burger King or any fast food restaurant to where they don't say thank you for coming. They don't give you receipts sometimes. They forget your food. And not to say Chick-fil-A is perfect. Sometimes they forget stuff, but guess what? They make it right. Um, and that's something I want to key on quickly. So, um, also on social media, you don't want to ignore comments. You want to respond to the good comments and the bad comments. So, one thing I love about Chick-fil-A is they respond to pretty much every comment. And the worst thing you can do on social media is ignore a bad comment. Ignoring it is not going to make it go away. If you leave it there and you don't respond to it, it's there for every customer to see. And they're going to say, wow, this company had a complaint and they didn't care enough to even respond to the customer. You know what? The customer's probably right. I'm not going there. You don't want that. Or let's say you get a negative comment and you don't reply. People are going to leave more negative comments on there. And it's going to get worse and worse. So if you have negative comments, don't ignore them. You want to make sure you reply to them. Because once again, people will feel like they're hurt. And if you can, try to solve the issue. And if you can, take it offline. Provide an email address. Provide a phone number where they can call you. And you can talk more about what their complaint is. But once again, you don't want to leave those negative comments on there to fester because they get worse and worse. And we've all seen here in today's society of social media where the wrong comment can take off and get really, really bad really quickly. So don't let that be your company. Make sure you respond to both the good and the bad comments. And I'll give you a tip here. So you want to make sure you reply to the bad comment, but also be sure to reply to every other positive comment. Why? Because the way social media works, if you respond to the bad comment one time and respond to all the other good comments, it'll push that negative review down even further. So when somebody comes to your page, they'll see all the positive comments before the negative ones. So once again, be sure to apply to all those positive comments because that will drown out the negative comments. All right, let's go back here to Chick-fil-A again. So let's scroll down. You see 8 million people following them. Once again, I have a salad here, 88 comments, and you see that. Let me zoom in here. This is really key. You don't see this a lot. You'd be surprised how many companies and how many big brands don't respond to comments. But look at that. Chick-fil-A responded again. Let's go down some more. You'll see Chick-fil-A once again responded. Let's go back. Sorry. Chick-fil-A responded to a comment. Let's go back down again. But this is the kind of thing that people want to see, good or bad. I mean, that's great. Responding to comments. People want to see that you're responding to the good and bad comments. Comment here. The person says, I miss the grilled spicy so much. And they responded, thanks for reaching out to us. We know our customers love the heat. We are testing spicy items in different markets. We'll be sure to let our community know if spicy items are added to our menu. People love that engagement. That means you see me, you care about me. You're not just, scrolling past my comments. So it may be time consuming, and I'm pretty sure that you don't have 8 million customers. But if you did, still make sure that you respond to all the comments because that's how you build a community. The only way you're going to grow is if you're being engaging. And I'll tell you one thing too, that um, talking about the Facebook algorithm and social media algorithms, it's all about engagement. So the more comments, the more likes, the more share you get on your posts, the more Facebook is going to show your post to people. So once again, the more likes and comments they give you show, the more they're going to show that post in the feed. So the better chance somebody sees your page. Why? Because it's active. And Facebook, of course, they're a business. They want to keep people on their platform. So if they see you being engaging, comments, like, shares, they're going to push your profile to get more of those questions and more of those comments. So, see, I have a question here. It says, "We love your background. How did you create it?" IKEA. Once again, this is called a lot. About the shelves, two shelves on the side here. Those are $20 from IKEA. I bought a can of blue paint. I painted it all blue. I got that frame from Target for $20, and uh, on the shelf, I have books I already own. I went out and I bought some figures and things like that. But yeah, it doesn't take a lot to make a nice background. It was definitely a DIY budget. I said went to Target, got some spray paint. This right here is actually black. I spray painted it gold. So yeah, you can get really creative to make a nice background. But thanks for that comment. Appreciate that. So we're getting ready to wrap up. But before I do that, once again, one last chance. Any questions or comments about social media, about how to use Facebook? Now is the time to answer those. We have about 2 minutes left. So if you have any questions or comments, please be sure to type those now in the chat box. And so while waiting for that, I'll just get the recap again. I'll say it again and again. Facebook is the number one social media site in the world with over 2.8 million users, billion, would it be billion users per month. So that's why you have to be there. Why? Because so many people are on there. And also, if you do a search for any business on Google, the chances are one of those links on the first page is going to be Facebook or going to be LinkedIn. So going back to what I'm always saying, digital marketing and the economy now is all about visibility. I believe the brands, the companies that are winning are highly visible. So having a page on Facebook is going to make your brand more visible. And if you're more visible, you can get more sales. So once again, that is why you need to be on Facebook. Um, Question here. She said, I met the background on your screen. How do you create it? Okay. All right. Well, ignore what I said. I use a software called Restream. I'll drop it in the link real quick, but I use Restream and use Canva to do this webinar and to create the background. So this is a free background I got off Canva. I customized it, of course, to fit what I'm doing tonight. But yeah, that's what I use. So I use a service called Restream. I put that in the comments, and also Canva is a service that I use as well. And I'll drop that link in the comments as well, because Canva is a great tool to use when you are trying to design graphics for social media. So let me drop Canva's link in the chat box as well. Hold on one second. So yeah, Restream and Canva. Canva is awesome. You can create some of the things on there for social media and other things too. But yeah, Canva and Restream, what I use. Okay. All right. So moving on, if you found, once again, this helpful, thank you for joining me. We'll be back here again on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, talking more about social media, how you maximize that. If you have any more questions or comments, feel free to email those to programs@usblackchambers.org. Also, if you want more webinars, if you want to see this event again, if you visit uschambers.org/webinars, you can see a full list of upcoming trainings, whether myself or other trainers also. Also, if I said anything that you missed, you came in late, If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, LinkedIn, this has been recorded. You can visit the profile in a few minutes and you can see a recording of the entire presentation and you can play it back. So once again, thank you for joining me. Once again, I want to thank US Chambers and also Grow with Google for presenting this webinar. And good night. Thank you for your time. And I'll see you again on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Have a great weekend.